Howdy, Full Metal Cowboy, straight shooting a review of a film. And right now, I'm going to be talking about an Italian horror cult classic directed by Dario Argento and starring Jessica Harper, known as Suspiria. With the upcoming release of Luca Guadagnino's reimagining of the same name, I figured it would be more appropriate to talk about Dario Argento's original 1977 cult classic. Now, while Dario Argento's Suspiria is a horror film, it's also labeled as a giallo film. For those that don't know, giallo is Italian for yellow, and the word is associated with Italian thrillers when it comes to the medium of film. As to why Suspiria is labeled a giallo film is beyond me, but maybe that's my fault because I don't watch much Italian horror films. This is actually my first Italian horror film. And before I dig into this film in my review of Suspiria, I'm going to consume some Jello, since I am talking about a giallo film. You know what? That was a fucking stupid joke. So, how did Suspiria become such a cult classic, one may ask? First things first, the visuals. Suspiria is a visually rich looking film, and the colors really do pop out in Suspiria. And the reason the colors look so good in this film is because Dario Argento took this film and processed it in Technicolor, and Suspiria happens to be the last film that was processed this way. Other visual reasons as to why Suspiria is considered a cult classic happens to be some of the grotesque moments that occur in the film, as well as some of the scares that occur in Suspiria, both handled well. Now, while Suspiria is a visually rich film, very colorful, very stylish, there is another integral thing to Suspiria, and without this integral thing, this film wouldn't be as memorable as it already is. Say it with me, the music! The music for Suspiria was done by the Italian prog rock group Goblin, and Dario Argento had some involvement with Goblin in the making of this soundtrack. And this is easily one of my favorite horror soundtracks that I have heard thus far in my life. And even without the film, I still love listening to some of the themes in the original Suspiria. And I would not be opposed to playing the Suspiria soundtrack in a Halloween party, if I can host one, that is. If you have not seen the original Suspiria, there are two things you may want to keep in mind before you jump into this. One, Suspiria is the kind of film that is definitely style over substance. That's usually not a bad thing, but the reason I bring this up is because there are some plot beats that do feel rushed, and there is some stuff that I think is left to be desired in some places too. And the second thing, which I stress greatly than my first point, is the acting. The emotional performances, especially the scary moments, are great in Suspiria. But as for the vocal delivery in terms of the dialogue, some will find the acting to be off in some places. That is because there is a lot of dubbing in Suspiria. Back in the day, from what I've researched, it was common practice for Italian films to have their cast members speak their native languages. Whoever didn't speak English got further dubbed for the American release. As for the Italian release, whoever didn't speak Italian got further dubbed. Now, while there are a few memorable faces in Suspiria, there is one character in Suspiria that stands out above the rest, rightfully so, because she is the main protagonist, and that is Susie Bannion, played by Jessica Harper. And the few reasons why I say this is because the film makes a great deal of showing Susie Bannion figuring out what the hell is going on. And the other reason is that when Susie Bannion expresses fear, Jessica Harper sells it every single time. And another thing that Jessica Harper was great at with her performance as Susie Bannion, that just sells it for me too, is whenever she expresses curiousness. Jessica Harper's acting is great in Suspiria. After having seen Dario Argento's Suspiria a few times, this is definitely a horror film that I would pop in every October starting next year. And I'm glad I saw this before Luca Guadagnino's Suspiria came out. I'm going to be shooting a 9 out of 10 for Dario Argento's Suspiria. Now, before I close out this review, I do want to point out that I will try to get my review of Luca Guadagnino's Suspiria when I can, but I can assure you it's not going to be within the first week. And the reason for this is because I'm having some complications on trying to find a theater nearby that would have a showtime that would be reasonable for me to go see it. So, but I'll try. I will try to see this whenever I can. So, until then, good day and good night. Witch!